Alright folks, we're going to go over this car pretty good here. Let you take a look at it real good, real close. The color looks pretty good in the garage, but honestly, if you take it out in the sun, it kind of darkens up a little bit, and I think it looks a lot better in the sun. Just if I open my garage right now, you're going to get sun and shadows on it. It's not going to, look too good on a camera. Okay, so that was showing all four wheels, tires, brake rotors. The two rear tires are Mickey Thompson Street Comp. They're a 275 wide tire. They're nearly new tires. Two front tires are about 3 years old, I believe. They still have plenty of tread on them. They're in good condition. These are the Sumato, I guess you pronounce them. I'm not sure how to pronounce that. But these are 245s in the front. Of course, the two fronts match, the two rears match. Gonna try to attempt to show you how the stance on the car here. The rear of the car, I'd say, is about an inch higher than the front. It has a real nice stance to it. Not sure if this will show it or not, but the rear, it's actually set up really nice. Let me try to show it from this way here on the other side of the car, the passenger side. Not sure if it shows, but like I say, it has a great stance to it. Okay, here's the passenger side. Start with the interior door panel here. Glass. Passenger side, here's the back seat. As you can see, these seats have all been custom upholstered. Real nice two-tone, like a charcoal and a medium gray. I think they look way nicer than the factory leather. Look really nice. As you can see, the carpet in this car is like brand new. Take the floor mat out. No feet have ever touched that. Look at all the weather stripping. It's like new. It's not dried up, cracked. The windows seal nicely. On the door here. Okay, here we are on the driver's side. Door panel, glass. Let's look on the inside here on the driver's side. The upholstery is perfect on everything except right there, because you can imagine getting in and out. It's kind of hard to get in here, and it's rubbed that right there. Other than that, everything else looks perfect. I think the car is nice enough you could get that one bolster, replaced or something. It's very minor, but still, to make it perfect. Steering wheel is good all the way around. No steering wheel cover, just in excellent condition. Driver's side rear. You can see she's all in perfect condition. Driver's side weather stripping. Driver's side glass. Rear deck glass. Passenger side glass. Front windshield. This is the original Ford windshield in here. I say that because car light Ford glass. Here's the back over here. No dents or anything wrong with the bumper back here or anything. It's just I'm close to my garage door back here. What I'll do after I do all this is I'll actually back it out in the sun in the driveway. And I'll do another walk around there. Okay folks, here we are under the hood. As you can see, she's still a 5-liter. This car is a 1994. In 96, all the engine work was done, and I have all the documentation to show it. I'll go over a little bit about what's been done to it. I'll probably leave a lot out, but it'll give you the gist of it. Let's give you a chance to look under here real quick. Does have all the carb numbers on here. Okay, so let me try to go over. I'm going to leave a lot out, but we'll try. I know it has KYB, struts in the front, shocks in the rear, and the quad shocks are also KYB. So it has all KYB shocks and struts. It has EBOC lowering springs in it. It has the BBK caster camber plates for adjusting the front suspension there. As far as the internals go, I know when the car was only 2 years old, it was taken in, engine was removed, nothing was wrong with it. It was just built to take supercharger. It has forged pistons in there. It has ARP hardware throughout. That's you know, the crankshaft bolts, the connecting rods. It has ARP head studs. The heads are studded. It has Edelbrock RPM Performer Series aluminum heads. And I have the paperwork for that too. Those heads actually went to the shop when they were brand new, and they were worked over a little bit more than they were. It has all the Ford Motorsport roller rockers and all that good stuff in there, you know, on the valve train. It has a crane cam, as you can see right there. Let's see. Yeah, so basically a lot of the internals were beefed up. The pistons were switched to forged. I don't know what valve size are in those heads. If they're what came in the Edelbrock or if those are reworked, I'd have to go look at the paperwork. It may be on there. It does also have the Edelbrock Performer RPM, upper and lower intake, the upper intake and the lower plenum. It has the Ford Motorsport 65 millimeter throttle body there. Has a strut tower brace there to make it rigid. Of course, it has the entire MSD ignition system, as you can see there. And this is the MSD 6BTM. So not only does this provide spark for the ignition, but it also monitors the boost that the supercharger is making. And there's a knob in the car where you can retard the timing, you know, if you get any spark knock, detonation, anything like that. On 91 pump gas, this car has none of that. You can leave it all the way down to 0 and it doesn't knock or anything. Turn it up, it'll start retarding timing out of it, you know, make it safer. I guess if you're running 87 octane or whatever. But yeah, that's what that's for. It's all hooked up. Oh, let's see. Kind of take a look in here. Now I can tell you that when this car was originally done, the supercharger that was put on it was a Powerdyne supercharger. And it was later upgraded, I believe 3 years ago. So this hardly has any miles on it, to a Vortec. And this is the S2, the Vortec S2. It only has the 6-pound pulley on it. So this car will only make 6 psi of boost right now, the way it's set up. You can put a smaller pulley on there, and this supercharger is capable, I believe, of making 775-ish horsepower. Now, I'm not saying this engine can handle that, because it probably can't. It's a 5-liter. You know, people say usually 500 is the limits on these. I'm just telling you what most people say. Some agree, some disagree. But the way it's set up right now, with that pulley, you know, it's 6 psi. If you want more, you can get a different pulley and get a lot more out of this. But the way it is, it's super safe to drive. And being a centrifugal supercharger, if you just drive this around, shift at 3,000 RPMs, it'll never come into boost. It's just like driving a normal car. You drive it aggressive, you get the RPMs up, supercharger kicks in, and this thing pins you to the seat pretty good. So real easy to drive. And when you want the power, it's there. And this system works great with this car. It also has the boost management goodies that you need to run the supercharger. You can see right there that manages the fuel pressure. It does have the upgraded fuel rails, the larger injectors. Don't quote me on this. I've been out of the Fox body. I know this isn't a Fox body, but I've been out of the Fox body 5-liter game for a long time. I believe it has 30-pound injectors in it. They may be bigger. I'd have to look at the paperwork, but it does have larger injectors to support it. And when you get into boost, you can watch the fuel pressure gauge in the car, and the boost does go up. I mean, the fuel pressure does go up with the boost. So, you know, that lets me know it's got plenty of fuel pressure. It does have a larger intake pump, you know, in the tank pump. It's all been done right. It has a new alternator on it. Nice clean coolant. The engine oil is looks brand new. I mean, this engine has been well taken care of. This car only has 62,000, or now it has 63,000 original miles at this time. I am going to drive it though. But the oil stays nice and cool. Unlike the Powerdyne supercharger, this one is oil fed from the block. So it has an oil line in and an oil return going back to the oil pan. So this is a oil fed and lubricated supercharger. It has the T5, of course, the 5-speed manual transmission. It has a brand new McLeod entire clutch kit in it. Matter of fact, there's the one I put in right there. This is the Street Pro. This clutch kit is rated for 400 to 450 horsepower. I figured this would be good for this car, and it would be an upgrade over, you know, just putting a factory one from AutoZone or Napa or something like that in there. I figured I'd get a good, you know, made in the USA one. I went up to my local Summit Racing store and purchased this. Had the flywheel resurfaced, the new pressure plate, clutch disc, throwout bearing, and pilot bearing. So the complete kit there. While the transmission was out, I did check the play on the input and output shaft. They are both tight. The car shifts excellent. It doesn't grind. It goes into each gear very nice, just like it's supposed to. And, you know, just for somebody who might wonder, when the new clutch kit was put in there, I did use the provided 2800 degree Fahrenheit high temperature grease. You know, just a thin coat to lube the pilot bearing sleeve and the clutch fork pivot and you know, any little pivot areas in there. So that's done right. Clutch feels great, grabs great, no problems at all. Everything was real clean. The engine doesn't leak any oil anywhere. Transmission doesn't leak anything. The rear end, basically the whole drivetrain, it's tight. It doesn't leak anything. Doesn't smoke anything. It doesn't use any oil. It's just a really tight, well-built engine. Currently, it has the off-road X pipe on it, and from there it has Borla exhaust out the rear end. I do have the factory H pipe with the 4 factory catalytic converters. So if this were to ever go back to California, or if it were to go to a city or a state where they require emissions, I don't require emissions here where I am. But that's all this car needs, is for that factory H pipe with catalytic converters to bolt back on here. And this car is emissions legal in California as well. This was originally a California car, and I have emissions you know, test from all the years showing it passed emissions. Has all the carb numbers for the various things that have been put in the engine. So as long as it has that factory H pipe, which I do have, this will be California compliant with emissions. She rides real nice. You know, she's got a pretty firm ride on her. She handles well. She drives perfectly straight. The steering wheel stays true and straight. She doesn't pull. Just a great all-around car. I think this is a great example of how an SN95 should be set up. The only thing I personally don't like are the headlights. And if I keep it long enough, I'll be changing them to the factory OEM style headlights. If somebody buys it before then, well, you can either leave the projectors on it or you can change them or do what you wish. That's the only thing I personally don't like about the car. I kind of like headlights to have that OEM look. Everything else on here I feel is very tasteful. The power mods are excellent. Everything's clean, nothing gaudy. That's my opinion. Okay, I'm going to stop this video here, and I'm going to make another one with the car outside and let you see that. So watch for part 2. Thanks for watching.